Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Comfy Nest with Grace. My name is Grace up here in North Dakota where it's usually pretty cold, but today it's really nice out. It's like, I don't know, it's going to be like 40 degrees today, which is a heat wave for us. So we're pretty excited about that. And I'm pretty excited that you're going to join me today. We're going to do some paper crafting with Couture. I am trying to be more intentional about Wednesdays being dedicated to Couture projects. I can't guarantee it'll be every single Wednesday, but that's my intent. Like I said, trying to do it with intention. So I created this little book last week on Wednesday. Well, it's not little, it's actually quite big. I created this book last week on Wednesday from a master board that I had created. And I made it out of a Couture envelope. So this was a Couture envelope that I got in the mail, and I made a master board out of it. And we cut it up and decided to use it as the cover for what will be our Couture projects that we're gonna do here together. So this was last week's project, an 8x12 or an 8x10 transfer. I've got some fabric detail on the edge and here with a little chiffon bow. And I watercolored the background of a chalk suede piece of paper. So that's what that one is. And we're going to add a second page to this today. So hello. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all of you so much. Let me put that aside because we don't need it right now. And I'll tell you what we're starting with for supplies. But first, I want to take a minute to grab the feed on my computer so that I can more easily read the comments and be able to see what you can see on camera and make sure that you're seeing what you should see or, what's helpful for you to see. Thank you, Jennifer. I actually spent some time doing a little makeup today. So thank you for saying that. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate you so much. You can't know how that makes a girl feel good. So, hey, you're being kind to me today. So thank you for being kind to me. I appreciate you so much. Hey, Martha, good morning. Thank you, Leslie. You guys are so sweet. You are so sweet. You're making me so happy. I got up at 5 this morning. My kids got up at 4:30. Did you see the little picture of them in my stories here on the page? My kids got up. I'm going to grab my water. Kids got up at 4:30 because they were heading out at 6 a.m. for a DECA competition. It's a statewide competition, but it's in a town a couple of hours away from here. So the high school team had to get on a bus and head on down. They're heading south down to another town to do a DECA competition. So they were all dappered up. They had ties on. They looked so nice. I said to them, I have to snap a shot of you two all dressed up and gussied up like that. They looked great. I'm super proud mama moment right there of them putting their best foot forward, hopefully. They have very different interests. Gannon, from what I understand, Gannon is going to be doing, and they can pick I wasn't in DECA. I hadn't even heard of DECA until 2 years ago when my son decided to join it. And it teaches them like business skills and from what I can gather, I'm probably not doing it justice. So if you have any involvement with DECA and you have a better description of it, please share it. But it teaches them in the world of business skills, presentation skills, organizational skills, leadership skills in the world of business within certain industries. So they get to pick the industry that they present in. So a lot of the kids pick like hotel and tourism to do their presentation in that industry. Like they do role plays and they, pretend to be in a real life business situation and present themselves. They're given a situation that they, as the team leader at that hotel or tourist business, they have to try to solve and present what they would do to solve that problem or to work through that situation at work. So it could be HR, it could be in, I don't know what all of the categories are, but Gannon chose automotive. He's going to do an automotive role play today, which Landon said not many kids do automotive, and Gannon is taking an automotive class right now at the vocational school, at the high school. So he's going to be doing automotive. And Landon, last year he did finance. I didn't even ask him. I don't even know what Landon is doing. Marketing maybe? I'm not sure. Good gravy. I'm a bad mama. I'm just so proud of them. And the two kids, my kids, I am very blessed in the fact that both of my kids are very conscientious about their work. I don't have to bug them about keeping up. I do remind them, but honestly, they're so independent. Landon's 18 and he is so ready for college. Thankfully, I'm very grateful for that. The school system has done really well to get him ready. He's very ready for college. I don't really have to bug him, and I apologize. I didn't even ask. I'm gonna have to apologize to him. If he told me, I don't remember which industry he's presenting in. Martha says, you were in DECA in high school in 1973. Martha, I am just learning about it. Like I said, when Landon joined it a couple of years ago, Landon's girlfriend is the state president for DECA in North Dakota. She is the most impressive kid, honestly. Props up to Maddie. She pulled, like kind of drew Landon into it. Because she said it's going to be really good for you no matter what you decide to do. So he joined it a couple of years ago from the influence of Maddie, which Maddie's a total rock star. She is the state president for the whole state of North Dakota. She is a total rock star. So I'm sure she is having a lot to do with the organization of this meeting today and helping to run it with the state. So this competition. So she introduced us to it a couple of years ago. And then this year, Gannon joined. She's a hugely influential leader, super powerhouse girl here in our community. I'm thrilled that we know her and love her as much as we do. So thanks to Maddie for introducing my boys to it. But I feel like it's really good for both of them. So they got all dappered up today, and I had to snap a shot. And I thought I got to share it with the Crafty Chicks in the stories. Hey, Chris Hunter, good morning. Welcome, friend. They are self-motivated, Virginia. Isn't it a good trait? I'm like I said, I am blessed beyond measure with my two kids and the fact that they are like that. You're giving DECA, you are giving the DECA group a good opinion. They'd look great today, and I wish them well. Thanks, Leslie. Thanks. Yes, I just sent them a little, I did remember to put my phone on Do Not Disturb so I don't get any phone calls or texts. But before I do that, I'm like, oh, I'm going off radar for my kids. So I sent them a little text message. Good luck today, boys. And then I said, represent. Represent the Kurtzes. Represent Devil's Lake. Go Firebirds. Hey, Christina. Hey, Debbie. Welcome. Everybody, welcome, Debbie. We got, what are some of the little, I wrote them down. Let's see. Confetti is 2 peace signs. Everybody, welcome to Debbie. We're going to do some confetti on the screen. Welcome, Debbie. She's a new member of our little community. And thank you for being here. I hope you stick around and hang out with us. We're going to work with some Couture today. So here's what I did. Last week, I showed you real quickly at the very beginning. Last week, on paper, I did some watercolor with the chalk pastes. I watercolored the background of this. We added some fabric detail, and we chalked on it that sweet little sentiment. I have a feeling this book is going to be a book of sentiments. So what I'm doing is I grabbed a piece of mixed media paper that's 9 by 12, because that's going to probably be the standard size that I put in this book. It's a 3-ring 9 by 12. But I could fit smaller pages in it too. But today we're going to do a 9 by 12. And this is the sentiment we're going to put on here. This transfer that I have used before. And actually, I was just noticing when I used it before, I only used Be Kind to Yourself. I left the Today off because you can see the Today is like crispy, clean, brand new. And you can see that the rest of it has a little bit of shadowing. I probably used black. Or maybe I've used it a couple of times. Maybe there's some pink in there too. But I used the top of it before. We're gonna use it today on this. But I'm not gonna do, it's a paper background, but we're gonna do some quilting. I haven't done this before, but we're gonna do some quilting on this, and then we're going to put some gesso and then chalk on top of that. I think that's the plan. I picked this for the background of it. So we're gonna quilt on top, and then I'm gonna glue these together, and that will be like kind of like a decorative pretty back. So I'm just gonna put that aside for now. I don't need it. I'm gonna put this aside for now because that'll come later. This is what I grabbed for fabrics. Now, if you're like me and you used to quilt, you have a ton of fabric still in hand. So I'm all about using up your stash, girls. Let's use up the stash of stuff you already have on hand so you can go out and buy more fun and trendy colors and things. But I really am trying to conserve my spending on my supplies and using what I have. So I had to do some digging in a couple of little bins to find similarly colored fabrics. So I grabbed a bunch of black and whites and grays. That's going to be the background for this. I have no idea how this is going to work out because I've never done it before, but we'll pull in Babsy here in a few minutes. I'm going to quilt some shapes onto here. Nothing fancy. We're going to sew it down onto the, we're going to glue it and then sew it down onto the paper, and then we're going to chalk on top of that. What do you think of that plan? Hey, Debbie, thanks for saying hello to everybody. And you guys, thanks for welcoming our new Debbie to the page. You guys, you know, Debbie was saying, hey, I'm new here, first time here. We are so happy that you're here. Thanks for being here. And you can see we have super supportive and cheerful crafty chicks here. So you're all welcome to come on in and join us for this morning and to hang out with us in the future. We'd love to have you back again. Okay, I have lots here. You know, all right, we have some darker colors. This is actually, what is this? It's just fabric. It's a huge piece of fabric though. So I have some dark, like that is really dark, and that's actually not white, it's cream. Not that it matters. I don't think it really matters. But you can see it's a little more yellow, the color. So I have darker colors and then some lighter colors. So here's the thing, we're gonna chalk on top of this. Oh, this is the same thing as this. So I can put the big chunk aside because I have enough here for that. And this actually is not the same as this one, although it's very similar. It's not the same, but I like the white background on that one. So I'm going to chunk this aside. I just grabbed a bunch of stuff and now I'm showing you my creative like thought process on what are we going to pick here. And that's, I'm as planned as having pulled them out of my fabric bin. That's all I did. Now we're going through and deciding. You can see I have plenty to cover a 9x12 piece of paper, more than enough. This is actually, you guys, you want to know what this is? I don't throw anything out. I'm a junk journaler friend, so I love to use stuff that I already had on hand, and I can't throw it out. This was a little pouch with a Velcro. Hear that, Velcro? A little pouch with Velcro. I bought a set of sheets, cuddle bed sheets, and they came in this little pouch, and I was like, that is some dang good fabric. It's cuddle bed fabric. I was like, I can't just throw that out. We're going to use it for something someday. So actually, I think this would make a really good junk journal cover. So I'm going to set this aside with my eye on this for later for maybe a junk journal cover. Because again, we still have plenty of fabrics to pick from. Hey, Joy. You love the paisley? Me too. I'm a big fan. You know, and the paisley, it's interesting. So let's take a peek at the paisley versus this. Okay. Paisley, it's got a really big pattern on it. Can you see that? Where this one has it's just little polka dots, really little pattern on it. So when you're picking fabrics for a project, you have to keep that in mind, because if you want to see your paisley, you can't just take a 3x3 chunk of this or a 2x2 chunk. You're going to lose the point of the paisley. So let's take a big chunk of this. We'll start with one big chunk of paisley. I don't want these scissors, they're too big. Let's get the smaller ones. Let's start with one big chunk of paisley. First of all, let's get off this little chunk of, what's it called? What's that thing called, you guys? What do you call that thing? I can't remember. You guys, I am dealing with some serious brain fog. Okay, it's menopause for sure. It's menopause. This has been going on for years, but it's getting worse right now. And you know I'm in this big flare up with my chronic pain. Somebody said to me yesterday, was it Marsha? One of the girls here said, do you think you have fibromyalgia? Because I've been in pain since Christmas. Basically daily pain since Christmas. Now today I am feeling better in the mornings. The evenings are just difficult and struggle bus for me because I've spent up all my energy by 3 o'clock, and a lot of days I'm back in bed and from 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 napping and just trying to rest so I can get through dinner and evening with my kids and my husband. But the brain fog thing, someone said, do you think you have fibromyalgia? So I looked it up yesterday, like, what are the symptoms of fibromyalgia? I've heard of it. I have a friend who has it, and I know it's chronic pain, but I didn't know much more than that. Brain fog is a big part of that. So I don't know if I'm developing this fibromyalgia or if this is just still a flare-up for my other autoimmune condition. I don't know, but I'm thinking about getting tested. You can't test. It's not letting me rip this way. It's only letting me rip that way. What? I might just have to cut this, girls. There's no test for fibromyalgia as far as I read. Oh, there we go. But what they do, I think it's like lupus. They they look at your symptoms and they put your symptoms in a rubric basically and say, do you have the majority of this list of symptoms? And if you do, at this severity, then we consider you as having that condition. So it's not something you can get a blood test for, unfortunately. Okay, so see how we can still get, on that big chunk, we can still get the look of that. So that is a good chunk for that particular pattern because we can still see and enjoy the paisley that somebody commented on. You know, Virginia, someone's asking about my thyroid. Last year I had a full blood panel done. My thyroid was messed up. My nose is itchy now from the fabric, sorry. My numbers were all messed up back in like 2017. Before that, it was before that. But when I was diagnosed with a condition that I do know that I was tested for, and I have, it's an autoimmune condition. My thyroid was messed up at the time. My levels were all off. My T whatever's, T3, T1, they were all off. And the functional med doctor that I was working with wanted to put me on a prescription. And I was like, the whole reason I'm going to a functional med doctor is I want to fix this as much as possible without pharmaceuticals. I would like to fix this as naturally as possible. So I didn't go on the thyroid meds then. I found the specialist that worked with me to get me, really, he got me my life back with the condition that I have. He's a doctor in Philadelphia, Dr. Eckenberg. He basically gave my life back. I mean, I was on the couch for like 4-6 hours a day in horrible pain. He basically taught me how to manage my pain and where my pain is coming from and all of the things that go into that. It's just too involved to talk about here, but so then my thyroid was off. Last year I called him and I said, can we please check? Because I'm not feeling great. I feel very brain fog, like really tired all the time, fatigue. Can we just check? I have not had a blood panel in a long time. So he ordered the blood panel and everything was normal. So last year, everything was normal. But I said to my husband last night, I might see if we can't get another blood panel done and just see if something's off because I don't know what's going on. I just know I feel like crud. Christina says, my thyroid is messed up. I have fatigue, but no brain fog. Well, I hope that you don't have to deal with it. I can literally feel like I can't find my words a lot of the times. Okay, this I'm not so sure I want to use this. It's here on reserve. This is the same thing as this, so I don't need 2 of those. We'll throw that aside. I'm just trying to simplify my life here. But the brain fog, it's like I can't find, I know what I'm trying to say, but I, for the life of me, can't think of the words. All right, we're going to tear this down to a smaller chunk. And if I get this down to 2 or 3 chunks, then we'll have 2 or 3 chunks that we can quilt. I want all of the, this will be the biggest chunk. I won't do anything bigger than that because I want to see the quilting like aspect of this. When I say quilting, I'm just going to be layering these fabrics down on here in a way. I'm actually going to make this one a little smaller in a way to cover up the paper. So we're going to take like these sets of fabric and cut them up. Now you can see these have been used before. They're just leftover pieces of fabric from other projects. Now this, I really like the color of this one. I really like the color and the pattern on that one. I don't need them to be perfect. We're just trying to create a base. I don't know how. We're just going to keep layering stuff on here. No rhyme or reason, girls. We're just having fun. Remember? This is all about having fun and relaxing and using up and enjoying your supplies without any pressure. Nobody's judging me to be perfect. I don't need, I'm not in a competition. I'm not in a craft competition where I have to get first, second, or third. Which, by the way, we were talking about this too the other day as a family. I'm just going to throw these down so I know that I have enough material to cover, and then we'll figure out the arrangement of all of them later. So let's just, right now, my 9x12 piece of paper is sitting here, and I'm just going to throw these all down kind of willy-nilly without any rhyme or reason to make sure I have enough of it to cover. Oh, that went away I wasn't expecting. This little piece won't get used. It's too wonky. It's a little too wonky even for my taste. Now, I'm not going to probably arrange them that way, but I just need to get them down so I know that I have enough, like I keep saying. Okay, I'm sorry to repeat myself. It's probably more for my benefit than for yours, to be totally honest with you. Now, this one, This one is very purpley, like very purple blue. I love the pattern, but I'm not so sure on the color with the rest of these, but let's see. I've got a lot of it. So let's use it up. I don't know why, I really do love gray fabrics apparently, because I've got lots of them. All right, let's do a couple of, like, I have a lot of rectangles here. I'm gonna do a few little squares. So these are a bit smaller, and we're just gonna put some squares on here. I still need more. See what I'm doing here? Anybody ever play with their fabrics this way? It doesn't have to be on a quilt. I used to quilt. I found it way too precise for me. It was way too precise for my liking. Vote on the buffalo plaid. Should I put it on here or not? I feel like I need just a little bit more of the paisley, even though, where is it? We may not be able to see the full paisley pattern. Like if I take a small strip of this to use on here, oh geez, it's much thicker. It's almost like a canvas, where these are like the standard Walmart cotton fat things. What are they called? Oh gosh, fat quarters. These are like the standard fat quarters that you get at the craft store or in the craft aisle. This is more like a canvas, like you can make a curtain out of this or something. But even though you won't see the full paisley, you have like a paisley panel here. I feel like we need one more to balance out because it's so dark and dominant. If a fabric could be dominant. Buffalo plaid or no? Debbie says she loves different shades of gray too. You should try crazy quilts. Linda, tell me more. I don't know what a crazy quilt is. Kat's here. Everybody, wait, hold on a minute. Fireworks, 2 thumbs up for fireworks. It's Kathy's birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday look at that, to you. It's my sister's birthday today and she's here. So everybody, please give her a big happy birthday greeting in the comments. She will love it. Okay, buffalo plaid. Jeannie, thanks for sprinkling. I appreciate you, darling. Hey, Debbie Fritz. Tamara's here. Hey, Tamara. I feel like I haven't chatted with you in a while. I hope you're doing good. Stress from pain, life can cause brain fog too. You ain't kidding, girl. Thank you, Chris, for saying that. I appreciate you. She says, you look so pretty. Thank you, my darling. Jeannie says, I had fibromyalgia until I lost 145 pounds. I still have thyroid issues and I still have some kind of pain. It is tough. Thank you for the prayers, Jeannie Clifton. Very much appreciated. Look at all those happy birthday wishes coming through. Oh, I love it. I bought the book that you have in your link. My friend said it is so helpful. Which one, Kathy? Which book? Sometimes word escape me, but I don't think it's thyroid related, Christina says. I do have family history of dementia, and hopefully that isn't it. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Whew, that's a whole nother, you're getting into a whole nother ball of wax, as they say. Hey, Kim Wallace, good morning. Missy McComb, we got happy mail coming out to you this morning. I got your package all ready to go. If you got an email, it's your tracking information. Remember yesterday I said I was going to send one crafty chick who is in the club. She was live yesterday with me, and I said, one of you girls who are live, give me a Craft Therapy Club check-in in the comments, and I'm going to randomly pick one of you to send some crafty supplies to. So Missy, I chose you and you're getting the stuff. It's already labeled and ready to go. I also wrote out 5 other happy mail cards, just greeting cards to other crafty chicks in the membership club. So that's my way of saying I love you guys and thank you for being members and being supportive. The thyroid book, Kathy, I have so many medical books. To be truthful with you, I have so many medical books on my side table. And I really need to start reading, especially I have gotten way off in my diet. Way off. In 2017, I was following the autoimmune protocol diet, the AIP diet, very, very strictly. I followed it for like a year and a half. I dropped a ton of weight, and it's only because I was eating no processed foods whatsoever. The only oils that were allowed on that diet were like coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil. That was it, if I remember right. And you couldn't eat any nuts or legumes or no milk, no dairy. So beyond being non-processed, the only things I were eating were pure proteins. So no, like not bacon because it's highly processed. So proteins, meats, vegetables, and fruits. That was it. And fruits were minimal. Like you were just supposed to try not to eat too much fruits. I did that in 2017. I dropped a ton of weight. It took about 60 days. I will say this. Okay. So for me, for my body, most of those like diets are based on a 30-day. Do this diet for 30 days. Like, I'm just struggling with words today, guys. Forget it. I'm not even going to try. Like just most of those diets will tell you try it for 30 days and you should see great results. I did not see almost any results until I was 60 days in. That's how hard my body was holding on to the stress and all that. I don't know what, but my body would not let go until I was 60 days in, and then the weight fell off. Like I lost like 40, 50 pounds like that. And I wasn't going for weight loss. I was going for feeling better. The weight loss was like, yeah, great, awesome. I'm fitting into stuff I couldn't fit into since college. But it was more that my skin cleared up. My eyes didn't have these bags under them. My fingers weren't like sausages. They weren't swollen up. My body did not hurt nearly as much as it does now. I normalized my diet. I slowly added stuff back in, which is what they really almost always want you to do, is to like slowly add things back in and see the things that affect you and don't affect you. I failed miserably at that. I just kind of was like, okay, I'm going off the diet. I tried a little bit. Like I was like, okay, I'm going to try dairy for a week. And then I just jumped right into dairy. I'm going to go back to drinking my wine, jumped right back into drinking wine. Imagine that. So I have cut out wine again because I think, as much as I love it, I think wine is the devil for me. Purely. I love it so much. I just really love red wine. And I was, for a long time, having a glass a night or 2 glasses a night, just as my like end of the day, kids would go to bed. And I was like, finally, I can have my glass of wine. And I said to my husband, my glass of wine at the end of the night, you guys tell me, I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but for me, my glass of wine at the end of the night was like my little high five to myself. Like, girl, you made it through another day. Girl, you deserve a glass of wine. And I enjoy the taste of it so much. And it just felt like my little me time. And I've had to change that. Time is no longer a glass of wine. It is now stretching. I don't have my glass of wine at the end of the night when everybody goes to bed. I get in my bedroom, I get in my pajamas, I get totally ready for bed, and I do about 15 minutes of stretching my hips and lower back, my arms, because I have a ton of shoulder pain on the side. So that's what my nightly glass of wine has turned into. So I'm slowly trying to change back into having healthier habits for somebody with autoimmune conditions, and it will help, but I have to keep reminding myself it took 60 days for my body to respond to eating completely clean. This is not going to reverse overnight. It's not going to reverse overnight, but I'm going to try slowly to change things back. Yeah, Mary says I have 1 to 2 glasses of wine a night before bed. That is the same routine that I was getting into. Now, I will say, it wasn't consistently 1 to 2. Some nights I had 3 glasses. And if I did that, then I was like, oh, I shouldn't have 3 glasses. And then I would go a couple of nights and not have any. But then I would have, like, oh, it's Friday and it's the end of the day. So I could have a few glasses of wine. So I would have like 3 glasses of wine on a Friday night. And then I'd be like, okay, Grace, take Saturday off. So I was like jumping back and forth between 1 to 3 glasses of wine to nothing for a couple of days. And then if we had like a holiday or something, so the holidays, maybe that's what kicked me so much. So, and actually I wasn't even drinking over the Christmas holiday because I was feeling crappy before Christmas. So I had a couple of glasses of wine through the couple of weeks of Christmas that my kids were home, but not like not my normal routine, because I had stopped buying the wine. I'm like, if the wine's in the house, I'm going to drink the wine. So I've stopped buying it. I just don't have it in the house. And I don't crave a beer. I like beer. There's beer in the house. My husband likes beer. I don't want a couple of beers a night. I don't know what it is. What is it about wine? I love a gin and tonic, but I don't want a gin and tonic every night. It's the damn wine I want. What is it about the wine? Girls, somebody clue me in. It has got a hold on me. But I'm wine-less right now. wine less right now. Okay, let's get back to this. What did we say about the buffalo plaid? Creating a crescendo. Chris is my friend Chris is saying, I feel getting back on the keto train. My body seems to be loving it, but I feel, wait, I lost your comment. I feel, shoot, I love the chit chat. I feel the withdrawals for sure. It's not, okay, let me admit this. Please don't think I'm a wackadoo. Please, I'm just being totally vulnerable, and I will share this with you. So Christmas went through, and I was like, I knew I just needed to like take a break from the wine because I love it so much, and it is like a regular part of my world that someone in my condition, it shouldn't be, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Let me just say that. If I was my own mother, I'd say, Grace, stop drinking the damn wine. But I really looked at it like my reward at the end of the day. I didn't reach for a cupcake. I didn't reach for a bowl of ice cream. I didn't reach for a bowl of cereal, which is also very sugary. I reached for a glass of wine. It was like my little dopamine hit. Like, Grace, you deserve this. You worked your ass off today. Have a glass or 3 of wine. Okay, so I decided over Christmas, before I was in the flare-up, like, let's just not do that through Christmas. Because actually through Christmas, through the holidays, like, you're just eating more treats. We had family here from out of town. So it feels like the holiday vibe. And I was very conscious of the fact that I didn't want to like fall into having 3 glasses of wine a night. So I just wasn't drinking it at all. I was purposely not drinking it at all. So it wasn't a withdrawal, but I ended up crying one night. I was talking to my husband about it, and he's like, well, what are you so upset about? And I said, because I feel like I deserve it at the end of the night. It truly is my reward time. So okay, when I went into the flare-up, and I'm like, I definitely can't be drinking alcohol right now. So when I let go of it, and I was like, okay, Grace, come to the realization, you cannot drink wine or any alcohol every night. I got really sad. Like, I got really sad, and I was crying. He's like, why are you crying? I said, and we were in the car driving. I'll never forget it. And I said, I don't think I really put it together before now that's how I reward myself at the end of the day for working so hard. That is my reward to myself. And it's a really not healthy reward, but I wasn't thinking of that way that time. I felt like it was really such a treat to get my special little wine glass out, pour a glass of wine, and I would sit on the couch while my husband was watching TV and float through Facebook and catch up on comments and try to reply to you guys and stuff. And it felt very relaxing and very luxurious and very like, and I said to him, this is like my little spa time at the end of the day, my glass of wine. So now that I can't have it, and I'm self-deciding this is not good for me, I need to stop doing it. It was like I was grieving this little reward at the end of the day. I don't want a cupcake. I don't want a bowl of cereal. I don't want a bowl of ice cream. I can't go for a walk. I used to run, and I literally can't. I had a dream the other night about running, and I was so sad when I woke up because I miss it so much, but I literally can't even walk. Like, it is difficult for me to walk without pain at the end of the day. So I can't go for a walk. Like, I can't exercise. I can't do something physical, which I used to do. So I was like crying. I'm like, I can't have my wine. I can't go for a run. I feel like the things that I love, I can't do because my body won't do it. It can't, it's in pain. It's literally in pain. I can't do it. So I was sad because I realized that my body it's just not going to happen. Like, Grace, you have got to let it go. This is not going to happen. So I have to redefine the end of my night, my reward to myself. Like the last 2 nights, I took an Epsom salt bath with lavender, and then I did my stretching. I still would rather have a glass of wine. I have to tell you, I still want my glass of wine. It's not an addiction. Like, I don't think it's an addiction. Like, I'm not addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to, it's not an addiction. It's like, it's the reward. Like, I gave that to myself as my reward at the end of the day. It's a mindset thing that I have set for myself that's very unhealthy for my body. So I'm trying to retrain my brain where my glass of wine, it can't be my reward. It can't be something sugary. My body just can't handle it. It has to be something that I treat myself. My self-care needs to not be a glass of wine. My self-care needs to be, I work with a massage gun because my hips are like, everything hurts. So I'll do the massage gun. I'll take a bath. I like wash my face and give myself a little facial with like, you know, we all have the fancy face washes and exfoliators and stuff. So I've been taking the time to do that every night, and stretching, which is okay. I always feel good after I stretch, but I don't always want to stretch. Does anybody else, do you feel like that? Like I always feel better. It doesn't feel like a reward. It feels like a chore to me. And I'm trying really, really hard to change my mind about that. I'm trying really, really hard to change my mindset, because I still would rather have a glass of wine than to do the stretching and have a bath. My body can't take it. My body cannot take it. So I have had to change my mindset. It is very slow. It is very slow. Now, I'm not saying like I'll never drink wine again. That's not going to happen, but it cannot be a regular part of my reward to myself. It can't be a regular part of my reward to myself. And that's what I was crying about. I literally, girls, I was crying like a little girl. I was crying like a little girl. My husband's like, seriously, Grace? I'm like, it is because I love it so much that I'm so sad that I can't do that on a regular basis. Am I ridiculous? You guys, am I ridiculous? I feel like I sound ridiculous, but I'm just telling you where I am with it. All right, I got to read some of your comments and take a drink of water. Annette, you totally understand what's going on? Yeah, Brenda says, I feel better after my glass of wine. Isn't it like it takes my nerves down a little bit? What is it about the wine? Is it like literally the alcohol in the wine that like gets me to be like, oh, my shoulders come down a little bit? It signals for me the end of my day. And it's like my high five to myself, like, Gracie girl, you got through another day. You're a total rock star. I don't have anybody telling me that. I know I'm not the only woman to say that. I don't have anybody saying to me, girl, you did, not even my husband. He's a great man. I love him, but he doesn't like, he's not a coddler, and he's not, my sister's going to laugh at this because she knows the man. He's not touchy-feely. He's not a coddler, and the way he'll cheer me up is not, oh, come here, I'll give you a hug. It's like, go get him, Gracie, you can do it. Like, he's like a rah-rah guy. He's not the, come here, you need a hug. I know this is really hard for you. I don't think I'll ever hear that from that man. He doesn't do that. So I don't have anybody at the end of the day patting me on the back and saying, you worked your ass off today, good job. So that was my way of saying that to myself. That's what I was crying over. My wine signaled that for me. And so now I'm like, oh man, I can't have my wine. In fact, not only can I not have it, it's hurting me. I know that it's hurting me. And it's probably the sugar. Totally, it's probably the sugar in the wine. Chris says, I totally get that about stretching. It feels like a chore to me. Like, I feel like it's physical therapy. I know that it's good for me and I know I need to do it, but I would rather just drink wine and sit on the couch. I sound so lazy. I know it sounds so lazy. I'm a good hugger. Kim, if I ever meet you, girl, I'm a hugger too. So I would love to get a big old fat hug. I do have tea. Like last night, I wasn't feeling great and I got up and I went to the kitchen and I came back with a mug and my husband said, what are you drinking? Coffee? Because I love coffee too. And I've changed my coffee routine as well. I said, no, it's herbal tea. And he said, good for you. Like, he recognized that I like herbal tea. It doesn't feel like a reward at the end of the day. It feels like I have to do this because I know in my mind that I'm only drinking it because I can't have my glass of wine. And that pisses me off. I have a whole range of emotions about that. It ticks me off. And it also makes me super sad. Like, I'm like, this just isn't right. I should have what the boys always say, she wants what she wants, like about me. Like if we're going out in the car and I want to drive, then I want to drive. And everybody step back because mama wants to drive. And if I don't want to drive, somebody else needs to drive. So they joke that she wants what she wants. That's what they always say to me. Mama, I don't need to explain to anybody. If I don't want to drive, I'm not driving. If I want to drive, I'm going to drive. Like, I shouldn't have to explain the why. Just hear me out and do what I say. So they always say, Mama wants what she wants. Yeah, and what I want is my glass of wine. Oh, Mary says, my husband sounds just like yours. Good man. He's a good man. He's a solid, good, awesome man. I love him, but he's not a hugger, and he's not going to coddle me. Oh, and that says it's the same as what a cigarette smoker goes through. Interesting. I suppose because it's like the lifestyle, right? Like if you really enjoy, I don't, my mother smoked. I never had any desire to smoke because I saw what it did to her as a kid. So she had terrible lungs. Like she just was so unhealthy in that regard. So I never had a desire for that, but I guess I can understand if that's part of your lifestyle to reward yourself with that. We have to get better hobbies, girls. We have to find better ways to high five ourselves at the end of the day, to reward ourselves. Our self-care, it really, I'm speaking to myself first, but in general, for women, for those of us that fall into this trap of picking things that are unhealthy, whether it is over scrolling on social media or playing like bingo for hours upon hours on our iPad, or like the unhealthy things, because that's not good for your brain and it's not good for your eyes, especially right before you go to bed, to be on screen. I mean, we know that. Those studies have been done to say you're not going to sleep well if you're on a screen right before you go to bed. Your brain can't settle down enough. It's the same thing with like caffeine at night, like these things that we think we love, monster drinks, like that, they're not helping us. We may see them as a reward, but they're really not rewarding us. They're really pulling us back into not the best version of ourselves, I guess is the way to say it. But I've totally fallen into that trap with my wine. I love my wine, girls, and I want it back. I want it back. Jennifer says, you're not being ridiculous. As women, we are not always praised and appreciated for the little everyday things we do. So what we do to reward ourselves is a precious gift. That's how I look at it, Jennifer. Like, that's my reward time, my chill out time. Yes, thank you for understanding, Jennifer. I appreciate you. Thank goodness, Jana says, we have crafting and good music in the world to keep us happy. You don't do sugar? Jana, you're very smart. You're very smart, because sugar is the devil too. Like, and I wonder if it's the sugar in the wine that I want so bad. I don't know. Like when I have my herbal tea, I always have a teaspoon of honey in it. That's more like a flavor thing. I like the flavor of it better. I think I might have enough of this. I might do one more skinny strip of this. Well, let's see. Let's start gluing stuff down maybe and then figure this out. I don't want two rectangles right next to each other. We do have to like get these in position. I've been enjoying our chat so much, but I haven't really made much progress here. All right, I'm gonna take these all off and we're gonna reposition things. And we're going for like a good color combo slash shape combo here, if that makes sense. If I do this, then I'm gonna have a big white spot there. Maybe we can fix that, we'll see. We have this down here. So I think like up in this area, we should have this other big heavy paisley piece. These two are the same, so we don't want to have them close to each other. So let's put that one up there. I might change this out. Oh, we can't put those two together. Let's put this a little further away so that those two are on opposite corners. All right, I have this one here. I need more. I need more fabric. No, those two can't go together because they're the same. Once we get these basically covering the whole swatch of this, we will, maybe what I need to do is cut this down to a different size, or we're just going to overlap this over that. And then I need one swatch right there. This one is too small. Let's go for this one. I didn't use a whole lot of this one, so let's grab one of these. This one. Remember I said that was like my least favorite one. I should have gone a little bigger than the paper, but I think we can make this work. Yeah, I am happy to chat with you guys about this stuff. Wasn't expecting to today. It's just naturally where the conversation has gone. I'm happy to chat with it because I love to hear like your perspective. Look at, I think we got full coverage here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my glue stick. Imagine that. I'm going to use my glue stick to glue it down, and then we're going to take the sewing machine to it and sew some stitching around all of this. And then I kind of want this on top, and then we're going to chalk on it, and I may have to gesso it first. So we'll see. We'll see. Jane, you're loving the chat. I'm glad to hear that. I'm not gonna really move anything from where it is. I'm just gonna move it over a little bit so I can get under here and put the glue. And I better just get like a piece of paper or something to put underneath. The glue doesn't have to be, no, I don't have to make sure that it's completely glued down. So I don't have to really worry about my edges because I'm going to sew around the edges. All I have to do is make sure that the panel stays put long enough for me to sew it. So the glue is really just helping me piece together. So I don't have to worry about the edges. I don't have to worry about being uber perfect with the glue. I'm going to try to line up my edges. You could always go over the edges and cut your fabric around, but I'm going to try to go right to the edge and see what we can get there. Yeah, I'm loving this conversation. Other than my husband, I haven't talked to anybody about this. Other than me and God. I've been asking God. I mean, please don't, I don't know if you take that the wrong way or what, but like, I talk to God a lot, and I've been saying to him lately, like, please just give me the strength to like get over this. Like, I feel like such a crybaby about my wine. Like, give me the strength to just overcome this feeling that I have that I've lost my reward, because that's how I feel. It's bugging me that those are curling up. That's kind of how I feel. And I feel a little silly that I feel that way. I haven't decided if I'm going to put, you know, on that other piece, I put a strip of fabric that went along the edge where I punched the holes. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that. This doesn't quite, like, I'm like an 1/8 of an inch off. If I overlap this here, then I have a little white strip of paper showing here. So I'm just going to try to, they're not going to overlap. They're just going to meet each other right where they meet. I like overlapping when quilting, but these are just going to, they just touch each other. So we're covering the paper in the middle. And then I have just a little bit of white right there showing the white paper. Now we're going to be chalking over this and probably gessoing over it. So we'll see how it all works out. Like a lot of, let me check the comments. It looks nice. Thanks, Donna. I appreciate that. Hey, Tita, how are you, friend? Oh, that's the best thing to do, to talk to God. Lord, I do. I'm waiting patiently for help physically. And I've not felt well since Christmas. It's been like 5 weeks. How many weeks is that, girls? I don't even know. I haven't looked at the calendar and actually checked the number of weeks. I imagine it's about 5 weeks, but it is really getting on my nerves. Like, emotionally, I'm really starting to get irritated and a little sad about it. I'm not going to lie. I'm being totally honest with you. It's really getting me down. There are so many things that I want to be doing that I can't do. Because I don't feel great. It is what it is. There's just nothing I can do about it other than what I have been doing, which is redefining my self-care, redefining my nightly routine. I also changed my coffee routine, if you can imagine. Any coffee lovers out there? If you're a coffee lover, give me a shout out in the comments. Do you have coffee straight away in the morning? That's what I want to know. Do you like, I was the wake up and I went straight to the coffee machine. That's what I did. The first thing I did was make coffee. Not anymore. I mean, before, a couple of weeks ago, when I changed my routine, when I get up, I always have water for overnight, and I would take my water cup from overnight and bring it to the kitchen, and I would sip on that, keep drinking that, and take my first set of vitamins for the day with that water. But as soon as the coffee was made, I was pouring myself a cup of coffee, like immediately. And does anybody follow Andrew Huberman? Do you guys know who he is? Do you guys know who Andrew Huberman is? Do you listen to his podcast? He's become quite famous, I think. Anyway, I've kind of like messed up my squares here, so I hope I put these all where I originally planned on, so they fit. Andrew Huberman is an ophthalmologist and who's a brain doctor? Neurologist? Is that what you call a brain doctor? I would be a good candidate for him. With my brain fog, I'd be a good candidate, a good patient for him. But he's not a practicing medical doctor. He teaches at Yale, I believe, medical school. No, not Yale, because Yale's on the East Coast. He teaches at, what's the Ivy League in California? I think it's an Ivy League in California. Is it Stanford? No, Sanford? What is it? I don't know. I can't think of it, girls. Look him up, Andrew Huberman. Why did I bring him up? Coffee. He says, absolutely do not drink coffee for the first 90 minutes of your day because it brings your cortisol levels way up, which I don't need. I don't need my cortisol levels to be way up. I need my cortisol levels to come down. So I don't drink coffee now for the first hour, which blows my mind because I didn't think I could ever do that. I actually feel quite accomplished in the fact that I'm doing that. I think I'm definitely screwing this up. Like the way I had it isn't the way it's landing, but that's okay. As long as it all covers. Andrew Huberman, he has his own podcast. He is an ophthalmologist and I think it's the neurologist is the word, if I'm thinking straight, which doesn't always happen lately. And he is a huge advocate for not drinking coffee. You can drink your coffee, but wait 90 minutes. He says 90 minutes. I've been waiting 60 minutes. It started at 30 and then I'm like, okay, I got 30 down. So now I'm waiting 60 minutes. I don't make my first cup until 60 and I'm not making a pot anymore because if I make a pot, I drink the pot, which I was making like 2/3 of a carafe of coffee. My husband would take a cup and I would drink the rest. Not doing that anymore. I'm making it by the cup and I drink 1 cup and then I drink water for an hour or so. And then if I want another one, I'm having another one. So I've drastically reduced my coffee intake. It's not UCLA. It's Stanford. Cheryl, it's funny. We have a Sanford Health here in Fargo. I was like, okay, I'm confusing the health system in North Dakota here with maybe the name of the college. I think it's Stanford. I think you're right. He's at Stanford Medical. He teaches in that department of ophthalmology and brain, whatever the brain doctor is. I live on bulletproof coffee, but it keeps me from eating all day being keto. Now saying that I might have a snack in the afternoon like nuts and cheese. Oh, that's a good snack. So Andrew Huberman, he's a neuro whatever, like a brain doctor. He's not a surgeon, but he's a brain doctor. He's like an expert at this stuff. And he's fascinating to listen to. Although I will say, he's like one of the only, most podcasters try to keep their podcasts to like 30 to 40 minutes. His are like 2 hours long sometimes. And he's just so smart. My son turned me on to him actually. My Landon listens to him on the regular. This one's a little big. We're going to have a big overlap there, but it's okay. I'm just going to plop it down. What do you think? So we put the 2 darkest panels further out because presumably our design, Be Kind to Yourself, is going to kind of go in the middle. We are going to take this to the sewing machine and like all these little corners that are sticking up, we're going to get them sewed down. I was hoping to use less glue so that the glue dried faster because truthfully, you want your glue completely dry before you take this through your sewing machine. Okay, so do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to go get my sewing machine, Babsy, and we are going to sew these down so we can keep on with the project. But if you're doing a project like this at home on your own, don't go right in with your sewing machine on wet glue. Let this settle for an hour or two. Go, let the dog out. Who let the dog out? Ooh. Do that, or go have a dance party, or go do your stretches for the day. Give it some time. Go have a cup of tea or your cup of coffee or your glass of wine. I'll be totally jelly, but go have a glass of wine and come back to it a little later. Give it some time to dry. So I'm kind of stalling a little bit by reorganizing my little fabric swashes here. See these little pieces? I don't normally put them in. I kind of have in my mind, like a limit. Like this piece, I'm going to put with the bigger swatches. These little pieces that are kind of scraps, I put them back here in this glass jar. And those I'll use on collages and stuff when I'm making tags and things like that. These are, oh, that one's a little one. The bigger ones will go into my fabric bin. But the smaller ones I tend to put behind me because they'll be used on smaller projects, most likely. So I do kind of separate those. Okay. Wait, somebody said something and somebody made a comment and I want to see it. The condition that I have is called interstitial cystitis. So it's a bladder condition. So the lining of my bladder is basically damaged. So I can't eat like anything with like citrus, anything acidic. Citrus, tomatoes bother my bladder, like it hurts my bladder. And it feels like, sometimes it feels like a UTI, but it's not a UTI. I have no bacteria. I don't have an infection. That's what a UTI would be. I don't have an infection. The lining of my bladder is messed up. It has ulcers on it and it's messed up and it's like sloughed away. So some parts of my bladder don't even have a lining. So anything that's in my bladder hurts if it's there for a long time or if it's acidic. Coffee. The coffee that I drink is it's low acid coffee. I have to drink low acid coffee. I don't really drink juice. Soda, when I'm feeling good, soda doesn't bother me if I have one, but carbonated beverages are not good for somebody with the condition that I have. Cranberry juice kills us. So somebody with the condition I have, people mistake it for a UTI and they say you should drink lots of cranberry juice. That's the last thing I need. I don't drink cranberry juice anymore. But tomatoes sometimes bother me, sometimes not. When I'm in a flare-up, I just try to avoid most of those things. Alcohol for sure, stay away. Coffee, I drink low-acid coffee, and I always drink water in between my coffee. And there is a pill, it's like a carbonate. I think it's like it's a neutralizer. There's a pill called Pre-Relief that you can take before. So say I wanted to have a glass of wine, I can take the Pre-Relief to kind of coat my bladder, to soothe the lining of my bladder, and then have a glass of wine or a glass of orange juice or a cup of regular coffee so it doesn't irritate my bladder. But my bladder is like broken, basically. Basically broken. And it causes a lot of pelvic pain, like just pain just down in that whole area because that's where your bladder sits right here. So it just kind of causes lots of pain. So that's my condition. Oh, Cheryl, you're so sweet. She says, we are here for you. She said, sometimes you just have to say it out loud before you can start working on it. We are here for you. I appreciate you guys so much. Straight to coffee for me in the morning. I don't even pet or talk to the dog. Missy, that is me. Let me get my Babsy. Let me get my little machine. That's me. That was me. I got into that same habit. Like, I would wake up, I would grab that glass of water to take with me to the kitchen, and I would start making a pot of coffee. And as soon as it was brewed up, I was having my first cup of coffee. And not as mindful before this big flare-up. I was not as mindful because I was feeling good and I wasn't having any trouble about drinking the water in between cups of coffee. Now I'm definitely like back to a more of a regiment with this. I have to be more regimented because clearly my body is revolting against that. Like the coffee, the wine, soda. I'm really not drinking soda a whole lot right now. I do love a Coke Zero, but I don't have one. I probably have one a week kind of thing. Neurosurgeon, I don't know who he is. Oh, Donna, I think I gotta check comments. Have you ever tried Lexapro? It's a wonderful thing for the pain. No. Is it a pain medication? What is it? Hey, Anne, how are you? Oh, she's feeling rough. So pleased to find you live to distract me. Well, Anne, blessings to you, my friend. I understand what it feels like to not feel good. I get it. Let's see. Azo. Sometimes you have to use Azo. And so Azo is, again, it's trying to keep away from getting a bacterial infection, which is not good. You don't want to have a bacterial infection. But Azo does help with that. I don't take it because it doesn't help my condition at all. Oh, Jana likes that I'm using my big jar for my fabrics. I'm gonna actually do a little video. I'm gonna declutter that, I think, today, because there's a lot of fabrics in there I have not been using, and I'm just gonna get rid of them. Yes, Wendy, you are so right. She says the girls at the Comfy Nest of Grace like to talk and support with each other through our daily life. Definitely. Yes, yes. Oh, Facebook hid Cheryl's comment. So you guys, if you ever comment on something on my page, I put a flag on my page for the creepers, because if you ever noticed, all of those accounts that are male accounts, they always ask you to friend them. Like, can we be friends? I love your, oh, you're so pretty, and I think you're such a good woman. Like those dumb comments that come through sometimes from these creepers. They always ask for a friend, like be my friend or send me a friend request. So I put a flag on the word friend on my business page, so it automatically hides comments that use that word. And I'm trying to protect you guys from the creepers, because I don't ever want you to click on one of those dang fake accounts. They're fake accounts of these good-looking military men who are looking for friends, women friends. So I flagged it. So sometimes when you guys use the word, it flags you too. But I just, her comment was hidden, but I just unhid it so everybody can see it. It says, I'm from California, and I have several friends and family who have gone to Stanford for different medical treatments. There you go. No, Julie, this is going to be a Couture project. We're working on a chocolate, if you can imagine, but we've been chit-chatting. It's been good, though. It's been good. You get those stupid guys almost once a week. It's been bad lately. Ugh, they've been bad. Are you guys seeing them out there? I just realized this is very horizontal. Like, line there, a line there, and a line there. It's very horizontal, so this shouldn't be too hard to do. I'm trying to plan a mode of attack here, because I want to cover most of the lines like you would a quilt, right? Like I want to cover most of those lines in between the panels with the stitch. So let's just start. Let's just start and see what we can do. Where's my paper? So my paper is a little bit shorter, smaller than my fabric, so I'm gonna make sure I'm hitting the end of the paper here. So we can still chat over the, I can't see the paper line. Okay, I definitely won't be straight if I can't see the paper line. I think I'm gonna do a little snippy snip here, because look, I don't need all that excess back there, and I need to know where I'm cutting, or sewing, I should say. So I am gonna come through and just, give this a quick cut. So now I have a straight line that I can actually see to follow with my machine. All right, that was the side that had the most of that, but let's just do a quick clean up on aisle 7, as they say. All right, good. We're good. Now, I don't know, we're just gonna tackle this. I'm sure it's not gonna be perfect like everything else in my world. I'm gonna do a stitch that's a little further apart, so it takes fewer stitches, and I'm just gonna do a straight stitch. And we can keep chatting over. Oh, I'm pressing my mouse thinking it's the presser foot. It wasn't. Now what I have to decide is at this point where I come to where there's a fabric going this direction, do I want to spin and go that direction? I don't think so. I'm going to keep going straight. Trying to hold it all together. And we're going to chalk over this, so I think I might have to gesso it. I'm going to go over. We're going to go to the end. I wonder if I shouldn't just do all the way around the edge. I think I will. And then we'll go in the middle. Oh, geez, Louise, you're supposed to be puckering up on me. And actually, by going on the edges, it's going to help make sure that the fabric doesn't fray off the page. It's going to help hold the fabric in place while I'm chalking and while we're working on the center part of it. I think I'm gonna end up putting some gesso, I think, on this. And so it's gonna stop the fray, it's gonna hold it in place. What was my third point? I had a third point. Oh, third point is I was gluing in the center of I was putting the bulk of the glue in the center of each of these fabric panels. So presumably there's not much to any glue on the edges of this. So it's giving that time, more time for the middle to be glued. I need to move Babsy this way a little bit because I have stuff over here and the paper is hitting it. Imagine that. My desk is a mess. That was a really good idea, Grace. Can ordinary pages, not business pages, do that too? I'm plagued by creepy jerk messages and I'm forever blocking, but if I could head them off at the pass, that would be great. Oh, you're so cute, Anne. She says I'm a techno dummy. Does anybody else feel that way? Do you feel like techno challenged? Like, most of the time I'm winging it. Most of the time I say to my kids, like, what did I do wrong here? Like, I'm pressing things, or they're like, Mom, what are you doing? I don't know. That's the whole point. I have no idea. I do, because my business is mostly online, I know a lot, but there's a lot I don't know. So I feel techno challenged too. And I don't know that a personal page can flag the word. Go into your settings. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that a personal page can flag the word friends. Okay, I'm going to, instead of lifting, I have about this much fabric paper to go before I get to the point where I need to turn this down to kind of hit on these pieces of fabric, the edges of these pieces of fabric. So instead of taking it out, cutting the thread and starting again, I'm just going to repeat up here to the point where I need to be. Oh, that's a little too far. It's okay. We're not going to worry about it. And then I'm going to turn it and we're going to go down the edge of these. I just curled my paper up because there's only so much space right there. I think I want to go this direction now. And now this is a real challenge. My fabric is wanting to curl up. Oh, I keep saying I need to get my seam ripper out. I'll use an X-Acto for now. I just need to like hold my fabric down with something so that my finger isn't going in there. My fabric right there is wanting to buckle up, so I'm trying to like hold it down. But I'm right on the edge of the fabric. So usually I use my seam ripper, and the seam ripper will go with the fabric right under the presser foot. But I don't have it out. I gotta find it. Now that I'm doing more. Now I'm doing more fabric crafting. And now that I got Babsy in line to help me. Okay, we're gonna go this way. And again, this one piece of fabric right here, the edge wasn't glued down, so it's wanting to curl up. So I got to use something to press it down under the presser foot to make sure that it doesn't bubble up. I'm just following the lines of all of these little pieces of fabric to make sure that they stay down. Basically quilting it, but in a very messy way. A very imperfect way. Now, one more. I need you to go down there. All right, let me check the comments. Silicone spatula. Is that what you use, Jana? I always use my seam ripper. I gotta find it though. When I see those guys making those posts, I always report them to Facebook and then block and hide their posts. Oh, really? That's a great block and hide. Block and hide, girls. All right, this is going to get interesting. Is it anybody ever? I'm kind of at the end here. I'm going to pull it out. and take a look at where we are. You can see from the back where I've sewn. See in here, I need to do a lot more sewing up in this section. Has any, oh, I missed this spot too. Has anybody chalked on fabric for a home decor project in the past? Do tell in the comments if you have. I needed to go backwards. No, backwards. Wait, do I have to hold this down? Oh, geez, Louise. Okay, this can be done. Hold on. I'm using a new feature on my little Babsy. Ah, no, stop! That was really wacky. All right, there's a button that you have to hold down for it to go backwards. I wanted it to go backwards for like 2 inches, but you have to hold it down. Well, if I'm holding it down, then I can't press the presser foot with my hand. So there's another button here that will just let it, you don't need the presser foot, you can just switch it and it'll just sew. That's not getting me where I want to be though. So we're gonna take it out and we're gonna reposition here. I'm gonna go this way because it's easier, and we're gonna add a little stitch here. Geez, that was an experience. So when I chalk on this, because we have so many patterns and so many different colors of gray, I don't know that we're going to see the chalk. Do we use paste or ink? That's going to be a question that we have to answer for ourselves. I don't think you'll see it real well because of the busyness of all the fabrics. So I think I'm going to gesso it. Did I already sew right there? I did. Gracie girl, you did it right there. Okay, one more. And then we're going to come this direction. And then we're going to come this direction. And then I got to go right there. Yes. Okay. I'm just seeing where my direction is going to take me next. I got to do here and I got to do there. Which one do I want to do first? Let's go this way. It doesn't need to be perfection. I'm going to be gessoing over it. I just want to make sure that all the little parts stay down. Look at that bubble I got right there. What is that all about? I don't know what that's all about. I just wasn't paying attention, I guess. Okay, I need to do, I think just one more spot. And then, no, 2 more spots and then we're good to go. Okay, here we go. Shouldn't take very long. Then we're going to see about, do we use ink? Do we use paste? Are we gessoing? Aren't we? Oh, you stopped moving. This is going to be interesting. I've never done anything like this before, but I thought it would be really fun to do like kind of a mixed media paper project with our chalk couture. I am not doing a whole lot of home decor with chalk, but I love to put it in a book because it's just fun to play with supplies and use them. Okay. See all that stitching? It's just to hold all those pieces together. I'm just going to check, is there any spot I missed? I got right there. Oh, I think we're in good shape. All right, Babsy, scooch over for a second, darling. All right, so see, I can't, if I chalk right on this, I don't think we're going to see our words very well. So I think I'm going to gesso. I could use ink, but I like the idea of the chalky gesso. I did this on a big canvas. It was a fabric covered canvas. It's actually in my dining room now. I chalked over the fabric covered canvas. But before I did that, I kind of painted it white in the center. And I really love the way that looks. I'll try to take a picture of that and share that with you guys later. Are the glue sticks good for journaling? This one is fabulous because it's permanent. So you want to find one that's permanent. That's not going to come unstuck later on. So yes, that same one that I used is great for that. Jane says to use black ink. Ink on the fabric. Yeah, so here's the thing. Ink is made for fabric. It definitely has a different formula, it's a lot thinner. If you've been chalking in the past and you have both chalk paste, which is erasable off of non-porous surfaces like chalkboards and windows, with this chalk paste, it's thicker than chalk ink, which is made for fabrics and ceramics that can be heat set. So we can use the ink on anything that we want to heat set. It is a thinner formula, so it's easier to get the ink to saturate into fabric, okay? But you could use the paste, because I will never wash this. I don't need to heat set it. I don't need it to be heat set. I don't expect that I'm ever going to take any liquid to it, like paint over it with more liquid. I don't expect that I'm ever going to wash this. It's going to be a page in a book. So I don't need the benefit of the heat setting, but I do like the feature that it's a thinner formula because it'll be easier. Oh, did I miss a spot? I did. I missed one little spot. I'm glad I kept her close. It's going to be easier to get it to go into the fabric. So I'm going to use the ink, but you could use paste. If you don't have any ink, you could totally use paste on this because it doesn't need to stay heat set. And presumably we're not going to be adding any liquid to this paper project. I missed one little tiny 2-inch spot, if you can imagine. And I'm going to cut this real close to the page. Okay. So what we're going to do is I could use ink. I'm going to paint either ink or gesso on top of this to create like a space for us to put this design. So kind of in the middle. So if I take my little chalk pencil, which is used for fabric projects, I need for this to sit, I need to put ink like, oh, I should have used a different color. That's like kind of red. I'll use this more neutral color. I need to paint a circle or a shape in the middle inside these lines that I'm creating that this is going to sit. So I'm basically putting lines on the fabric just outside where the design is going to sit. So like I'm just giving myself some markers so I know to put chalk. You could use ink or you could use gesso. I'm going to use gesso because I have a ton of it. And this color I have, this gesso that I have is gray. It's just perfect for this. And then we can chalk any color we want on top of this and we'll be able to see it. That's my theory. That's my theory. Let's see if we can make it work. So the only thing that is an unknown, you love my Babsy label? Oh yeah, we named her that first time. That was my paper towels just fell on the floor. We named her, that's my mom's name. We named her, my mom's name was Barbara Ann, but she went by Babsy for a lot of people. We named her like the first or second time that I used it. I'm like, well, she needs to have a name. My other machine's name is Sybil. She doesn't have a label on her though, but I thought it would be really cute to put a label on her. Okay, I'm Babsy. All right, I've not used this gesso in a long time, so I'm getting a lot of gesso boogers on my table. I need just a regular old paintbrush. Kind of want a smaller one, like, you know, that's probably 1 inch or so. Not a real big one, so I can kind of control it, and it needs to be within. So the middle of it is gonna be more covered, and then as I get to the outside, it's gonna look less covered, and it's gonna be a little, I don't want just a big old square of gesso in the middle. I want it to look a little more artistic than that. And I don't necessarily want to super cover my fabrics. So not a lot of paint on here, gesso. I'm going to cover a little bit of the fabric and just see if it's like your makeup. Is it giving full coverage and totally hiding the fabric, or is it just obscuring the fabric, which is my preference. That's my preference. So I'm just going to do a little spot right here. Oh, it's full coverage, girls. So I think what I'm going to do is add some water because I don't want full coverage. My makeup, I want full coverage to cover up all those little red marks and like the redness on my skin when I wake up in the morning. All right, I'm just putting a little water in a dish and I'm tapping this into that so that it will be hopefully a little more opaque. See how it's completely covering the fat? I can't even see the patterns. I can't see the colors. I don't want that. I want it to be more opaque. Not opaque, more transparent. So that one spot's going to be real dark because that's where I first went in. I'm going to take a bunch of this gesso now and I'm going to put it in this dish and water it down. You could use your liquid gel medium for this too, because liquid gel medium is an acrylic base and this is an acrylic gesso. It says chalky gesso, but it's acrylic. Let's see. Yeah, for acrylic and oil paints. So, all right, see what I'm doing? We're just gonna paint in a place to put that phrase so that we can see it better. If we just go in on all of those pretty fabrics, we're not going to be able to see the phrase at all. Let's just see. I'm kind of going to go give myself the outside markers. Like, I don't want to go beyond that. I don't want to go beyond that. Oh, I need more. Apparently it's like soaking up all of this gesso. So I'm going to go through, I think, a bit of it. So I'm going to grab a bunch. We're just putting it in this dish. And then I'm going to water it down so that I can spread it more easily. Never done this before, girls. We're experimenting together. I don't want it to be total coverage. See how it's almost like a dry brush? That's what I'm going for. I don't want it to fully cover because I want to see all those pretty fabrics. And it doesn't have to be a square. You could make it more like rounded edges, like oval shape on the outside of this gesso marking. Totally up to you. Like, there's no rule here. It's your project. You can do it however you like. I got lots of little pieces of thread floating around in my project here. We'll get those out in a minute. I'm just going to make sure I have enough of a background for my phrase. Be kind to yourself today to kind of fit in here. I hope this works, girls. I don't know for sure, but I'm hoping it's going to work. This center polka dot fabric got really covered up. It just got really covered up. That's where I started, but you can see a little bit more of the fabric, the other fabrics through. I love that it's super grungy looking, because you know that's kind of my thing. I love the grunge. I don't want like just a perfect square in the middle. That to me is too perfect. I like it to be ratty, along with the rest of my life. It kind of matches. All right. This will need to dry for a few minutes. I can actually, I got threads all over me. I can extend the gesso a little bit beyond in a very messy way. Oh, I missed a spot for sewing right there. Like in a very scratchy dry brush way. I'm just going to extend this out a tiny bit out of that parameter that I gave myself. So it's more covered like that. I'm not, this gray is very blue, which it's what I had on hand, so that's what I'm using. But it's not, I'm not thrilled with the color, but it's okay. I think if you know, if you see me do something and you're like, man, I've never done that before and I want to try it, the beauty of this is you kind of take the process and then apply it to your own style. Your own, like, what do you have on? You may not have the same supplies that I have on hand, so you use your own style, use your own supplies, and you adapt it to your own project. Thanks. She said your shirt is cute. Why, thank you. I move bulky pieces, but leave it more singular pieces. Hey, Phyllis. Thanks, Jane. I think the thread adds texture. Yeah, I'm going to leave most of them. I'll show you here in a second. I'm drying it so that the next test is when we put the sticky transfer on top of this to chalk and I pull it up. Here's the thing. Most of the time, or a lot of the time, if you don't allow this to dry on its own and cure, a lot of the time the sticky will pull up that other color that's underneath. So the gesso, it may pull up a little bit of that color. We'll see. It's a test. So I'm trying to dry it. You know, it's paper on the back, so the paper is now a little damp. So let's hit the back with a little bit of air. And then we are just going to use the ink. And I'm going to ink black because I feel like it'll show up best, but really you could do any color you want. And then maybe we could do some embellishments to the edges. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put some kind of fabric on the edge. I'm not sure yet. I'm so eager to move forward, like, oh, let's do it. But it's still a little bit damp. Let's see about... Actually, I think like a foiling on the edges would be really cool, or like an embossing powder to just add. Oh, did you see the cards that I did? Like, let me grab this one. I did some journal cards this week live, and this one that I did has amazing, this embossing powder is like, look at this. This strip of shimmer right here where I'm pointing at, right here. I'm going to show it to you real close. That is embossing powder. Right. So it would be really cool to put some embossing powder shimmer on the corners of this when we're done. So let me give that a second more to dry. I'm going to look at my embossing powders and try to say what color would I want to use. This is a pearl. Is that blue? Pearl embossing powder, but it doesn't say what color that is. It looks blue to me. I don't want blue. I don't want blue. I would like something a little shimmery. This here creates a shiny raised impression to a stamped image. Sparkle embossing powder. This is black. Let's do this one. This could be interesting. We'll use this one. Yeah, let's do some embossing. All right. We'll do that when we're done with the... It's still too wet. I just can feel it. I can just feel it, girls. Why are you in Facebook jail, Denise? Why do you think you're in Facebook jail? What happened? What happened, my friend? What kind of hook did you hang your dryer on? Oh, it's not a hook. It's a nail sticking out of the wall. It's just a nail. My husband, I had here like these little buckets, like these tiny little, like they were like this size basically. And they sat on a rod system. They kind of hooked on a rod, and I had them hanging all over this wall at one time. And the nails from that system are still in my wall there. So I just hang the little loop on there. It's just a nail. It's nothing special. Oh, I can see you, Denise. Yes, I can. I haven't been looking at the comments a whole lot because I've been working on the project, but I can see you. Oh no, Maureen, what happened? She said she got kicked off. What's going on today with FB? All right, let's try it for the sake of time. As I always say, you give it more time. I prefer, in truth, I prefer to let things dry naturally. So if I'm here by myself and working on this, I walk away. I go get a snack, or I go get it's almost lunchtime, so I'll go get a lunch or a cup of tea. I'll go to the restroom. I'll do some stretching, like go walk away and do something else, check your email, whatever. Let the dogs out. Do that. Let it dry on its own is my point. We force it dry because for the sake, so that it can happen sometime today. Okay. Lots of little errant, like fabric, thread pieces and fabric sticking up from the paper. It has a ton of texture on it, and it's got paper in the back, piece of mixed media paper. It's got the fabric on the top, which gives you the fabric-y feel, but now it feels painted fabric because the gesso is chalky and kind of crunchy. We're going to put this down. Now, because it's a very uneven surface, you have to understand you are not going to get the same result with your chalk transferring the chalk ink onto this surface is not going to be the same as if it was on a chalkboard or on a plastic, you know, bin that's smooth and soft and all the same height. These are not all the same height. This is very like, it's got lots of nooks and crannies, lots of pieces of fabric all over it that are sticking out. So I may not get every single little detail of this on here, but it's going to be enough that we can see the design and read it. Okay, so when you're inking on fabric, hold on girls, let me get this in place. When you're inking on fabric, depending on what you're inking, you don't even necessarily need to fuzz your transfer, because the fabric, it's not gonna stick to the fabric too strongly. You don't want bleed through, so you actually want it to stick as strongly as possible onto a fabric project. Now, right here, it's kind of bubbling up because we got some nooks and crannies under there, but I'm gonna go along and try around the letters to push my finger pretty hard. Some people will take their squeegee and do this, but I prefer to do it with my fingers so I can grope it and feel. I'm very tactile, so I want to feel. It just has some bubbles under it. There's nothing I can do just because I have that one big spot where there was that big, it's a meetup of two fabrics and then there's 2 layers of stitching there. It's just going to be a little bubbly. So we're just going to go for it. Hey, Jermaine. No, this is an old one. This Be Kind to Yourself Today. This is an older transfer. I'm going to drop a link to it in the comments. I went to check to make sure. I grabbed the link just in case somebody asked. So thank you for asking, Jana. I just put it in the comments. I was surprised because I got this quite a while ago and it is still available on the site. I did check. I was like, oh, let's see if this transfer that I want to use, if it's still available. And yes, it is. So I just dropped the link in the comments if anybody wants to go grab it. There's a 50% off sale on all Valentine's stuff right now. Did you know that? On the Chalk Couture site. Okay, this is a new jar of ink and there is going to be enough probably for this project on the lid. So I'm going to put that aside and just look at that. Lots. Don't just throw away your lid. Don't throw it away without scraping off all that goodness. I don't want it on my fingers, and yet I have it on my fingers. I just want to grab like a paper towel. That's going to get my nails. It's going to look icky. It's going to look like I didn't clean my fingers for ages, but it's just going to be chalk ink in my nails. Okay, now I can throw this out and feel good because I got all of that off of there. And I'm going to use this on here. I've got this close by so I can add more to it if I need it. Is that straight? Yeah, I think so. We're just going to start up here. Now, when you are inking, you don't need to work as fast as when you're using chalk paste because the ink doesn't dry as fast as chalk paste. So don't feel like you have to super rush to get this done, the rest of it done. You can take a little bit more time at doing this. And all we're doing is pushing that paste that's on the squeegee through the transfer design and transferring it onto the fabric below. And I'm just hoping we're not going to have a ton of bleed through. I don't think everything will come through, but we'll see because I have all those bumps and bruises, those nooks and crannies. Sometimes with fabric, I find too, in addition, another technique thing is that I have to push on the squeegee a little harder to push the ink into the fabric. You want the fabric to soak up and take that ink in. And so sometimes you have to push it in. It is a delicate balance between not pushing so hard that you get a ton of bleed through, but pushing hard enough that it soaks into the fabric below. That like skill is only going to come with time. It's like telling somebody how, when they're first learning to drive a car, how hard to push down on the brake to stop the car, or how hard to push on the gas to rev up. You know how when someone first learns to drive a car and they push on the gas and you like take off and you're like, ho, 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 ho. Just push a little softer. It's like that. You won't get this down until you practice it, just like driving and how hard to push on the pedal. It just is going to take some practice, understanding how the product works, and then practicing how hard to push to get the results that you want. So just go easy on yourself. Give yourself the time to do it. Now, I usually, like right there, I like that spot right there on the Y, the paste didn't go through. So I'm going to just give it another little hit right there. Yep. And now it did. So anywhere, I want to show you, but I don't want to ruin my, like lose my spot. I want you to look on the B, and I want you to look along, you know, the B. You have the one line and then you have your two humps. Look at the one line on the B. And there are a couple of spots there that got missed, like the paste did not go through. Can you see that? Right in the middle of the B, that one spot. So I'm going to put this back down. That was very daring to pick it up completely. I'm going to put it back down and I'm going to push more paste through that section. Yeah, baby. Yeah. And then we got the B in full right there. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. I'm peeling it back. I'm looking to see. I don't mind if it's scratchy in some places, but like in the middle of the K, you can't even see this line really. So I'm going to put it back down and push a little more paste through that spot. That one, I had a little bleed through now. It's complete. It's covered now, but I got a little bleed through. The S is very gnarly underneath the S in yourself. It's very gnarly. There's a lot of nooks and crannies, so I don't know what I'm going to get there. I'm going to approach it from the other side now and peel back. I added some more to the S. Okay, I'm done. I like it scratchy because you guys know I like a little grunge, but there were a couple of places where I felt like I needed to keep filling in. See, like right there in the K, that middle section of the K, you couldn't see any black. So I put it back down and I added more. And now it's a little fat, like it's a little bit bleed through, but it feels that I like that look better than what it was before I put the extra on there. What do you think? Like you could do this. Like you could make a quilted patch on the, you know, tote bags. When you buy canvas tote bags, they're usually very plain. They're just like that creamy colored canvas, and they're very plain, and they make great little tote bags. You can ink all over them, any little phrase that you want. But if you feel like they're kind of like, you know, I've done a bunch of those and they're all very plain, you could make a canvas, like a little panel of quilted materials, just like I did. You could even do it on paper, or you could just do total fabric and then sew that onto your canvas bag and then chalk on top of that using this technique. So this technique, I'm doing it on paper to put it in a book, but you could take this technique and put it on a canvas bag. You could put it on the end of a blanket that you've quilted for somebody if you want to do something very special. Put a little special message on a blanket that you're giving to somebody that you've made for them. This could get framed and hung on a wall. It doesn't have to go in a book. It's just that I'm not doing a whole lot of home decor, you guys, because I don't have a lot of room anymore in my house for home decor. Whoa! Oh no! I dropped it on my new leggings. I got black splatters on my leggings, girls. Hold on. We're going to get a baby wipe and see if we can clean it up. I just noticed that I put the dirty transfer, instead of putting it on a backing, I put it on the piece of paper, oh no, that I wanted to use on the back of that, the decorative paper. Oh, jeez, Louise, Gracie. Brand new leggings. They're my favorite because they're so super soft and comfy. Oh, well. That's what I get for not wearing I'll probably have ink on my face now too because I got an itch. That's what I get for not wearing an apron. Okay. I had put it on the back of this. This is my decorative piece that I'm going to glue this onto so that we're going to do the 3-hole punch. And then when you're flipping through the book, you have a decorative back instead of a white back. And actually we could chalk on that too, but this is, I just want that. That was my goal there. Oh, good gravy. I made a mess. It's a big book. Yes, it is. Oh, and, oh, it's Annette. Annette, thank you for the stars. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, Denise. That ink, sometimes it'll wash out and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, I'm not going to sew this on. I'm just going to glue on that paper backing. I can use any permanent glue. Let's see, what do I want to use? probably be fastest to just use my Fabri-Tac. So I guess I'll do this. This is still a little wet. I'm going to put it off to the side. We're going to apply the glue to this. First of all, this dirty old mess, I threw it aside to save my leggings. This is the transfer backing paper. You want to put it on the shiny side. I'm just going to stick this on here and I'll clean it later. The one that I used last week, I still haven't cleaned. It's sitting in my laundry room just like this, waiting to be cleaned. Let me put this aside so I don't get it on anything. Whew, geez, that got my heart rate going. Yeah, thanks, V, for noticing. We've just had a big, long chat about health and wellness and my journey. I've been sharing a lot this morning. My mornings are generally good. My evenings are really tough on me. Like around 3 o'clock, the pain really sets in. So you guys are getting the best of me because I've been live in the morning. Now tomorrow, I'm kicking off the 5 journals on a journey at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's usually my witching hour. But come join me tomorrow. I have been sent one of the 5 journals and I'll be adding a signature to it tomorrow. You don't know whose it is, so I'll reveal it tomorrow. And then after me, my 4 creative friends who are doing journals on a journey with me, one of them has my book and she's going to be adding papers to that. And then the other ladies, we each, we're sending the journals to each other and adding to it and then sending it off to the next person. So tomorrow is our first one after sending them to each other. So join me tomorrow at 3 live here. I'm also live tomorrow at 11 a.m. I think it's at 11 a.m., isn't it, girls? Club members in the Craft Therapy Club. I'll be doing the monthly overview. I'm going to show you the project that we're doing this coming month in February, starting tomorrow. And I'll go over the supply list of the things that you need to gather for that project. We'll go over the whole schedule for the month because there's lots going on this month in the Craft Therapy Club. So I'll do the monthly overview. I'm going to reveal we're doing a swap of sorts. We do lots of Secret Sister swaps that are optional. You can sign up if you want to, you don't have to. But we are doing one, but it's very different than what we've done in the past. It's not necessarily a swap per se, but it is a mailing thing. So I'll talk about that. And then at 11:30, I'll do some napkin art journaling in the group. So don't miss that. So tomorrow I'll be live twice. Once at 11 and 11:30 for the Craft Therapy Club members, and then again at 3 for the event. Now I'm going to try to line this up nicely. Oh, I can't, the fabric is kind of getting in the way of my seeing the edges of the paper. I can't necessarily press on the center a whole lot because I think it's still wet. So I should have waited. Again, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, that's not wet. Is this part wet? We'll see. Nope. I just need it to stick, and then we're going to 3-hole punch it and put it in. So I wanted it to have a decorative background. I'm going to get my 3-hole punch. Hold on. Hold on, ladies. I'm going to put aside this black, dirty squeegee as well. All right. We are going to emboss too, but let's first get our holes in place so that I know, that my holes are where they need to be before we add some embossing. Mary is so excited. Are you excited about 5 journals on a journey? Are you excited about the Craft Therapy Club? Tell me. What are you excited about? The journals on a journey are going to be fun. Wow, I'm blown away at the book that I got in the mail. And I'm feeling, I will tell you, after getting this first one, I'm feeling like completely inadequate. Like my book, I always do my cover last. And the book that I got, the cover is completely done. And it's gorgeous. It's gorgeoso, as Marta would say. So I'm just going to put a little red mark so I know where to go here. Oh, I just broke the tip off. Ooh, jeez Louise. Get aggressive, Gracie. All right, I'm going to feed this in here so that the holes, am I on the right side? Yeah. I just would like the papers to kind of be aligned. I don't want like one a little higher than, I'm known to do that, one a little higher than the other. So we're going to stick this in here. I hope this works. Yep, like a champ. Poked right through. It's Now I know where my holes are for putting it back in the book. Now we can do a little bit of embossing on these edges. What do you think? Should we do it? Should we do it? We don't need Babsy anymore, so I'm gonna unplug her and get her off the table. She takes up a bit of space. She's little, but my table is really little too. Thanks, Kathy. My little note to all of you. I hope you know that. All right, embossing. Let's do it. Should I do this? Where is it? This sparkly black. What is this one? Superfine black embossing, but that's just matte. I don't think that one's glossy. I think it would be nice to do something a little glittery, glossy. Oh, I have a gray, but it's just, oh, it's silver. No, I think black would be more. All right, let's do black. I don't know that I've ever embossed on fabric before. Have you? I'm going to use the embossing dauber because I think it'll be the easiest way. And I'm just going to randomly dauber on some embossing liquid glue. So let's just start in this corner here. I like things kind of messy. You know me. I like them kind of grungy. So we're going to put some detail up here. You could stamp. You could stamp like a little floral design or like a flourish or something. You're excited about the journals, Mary? Jana's excited for 5 journals on a journey. Well done, power sprayer, take the ink out. Ink is meant to be permanent. So yeah, it won't take it out of I will say this, I don't think it'll take it out of every fabric. It may take it out of some fabrics, but I don't think it's going to take it out of everything. All right, I'm just giving like a corner detail here and trailing it off, you know, kind of. I'm going to pull it a little away from that wet spot. We're going to put this down. Oh, I should pull this off the book before I do this. I should pull that page off of my book so I don't have to worry about doing it when I have all this embossing powder. This is very black. Eek! Did I pick the right color? I don't know. And did I get enough? Did I go far enough? I can't see where I put the glue because it's fabric. Oh my gosh. That's way more, way more than that is going to be way bolder than I was thinking. Holy boldness. Let's see what we get. All right, I'm not even going to mess with this. There's powder kind of like static clinged all over it, so I'm just going to throw it in the garbage. I put the bulk of it in here. All right, let's heat this up and see what we get. I've never done embossing on fabric, but we're trying it today, girls. Have you done that? I've asked, but I don't know if you guys answered me. Let me scroll through some of the comments. I'm not going to brush it off, Ruth. I'm going to accept the way it landed, and we're going to see what it looks like. It's going to be kind of messy. It's going to be kind of big, and I'll show it to you here in a second. I should probably move my glue from behind the heat source. It's a lot of it on there. Woo! I can't wait for it to just, come on, do your thing. Do your thing. You can, when it starts to change, it looks like it's moving, and it starts to change texture and get shiny. I've never done this on fabric though. Come on. I know you want to. I do have a heat gun that gets hotter than this thing even does that I could use, but that thing kind of scares me, so I usually stick to this one. It sure is taking its sweet old time. Might as well rest my elbow and get comfortable. Why isn't it? Oh, hello. Oh, it's smoking though. I've got the thing is smoking. I don't want to burn the fabric or the paper behind it. Do you see the smoke? Can you guys see the smoke that it's creating? Oh, now on here I can see it moving. Is that, maybe it's done. Oh, that corner was done that whole time. It doesn't look very shiny to me. Hold on, I'll show you here in a second, girls. So you're waiting for the little plastic, they're like little tiny micro beads of plastic. And when you heat them up, they melt and then they meld together. And most of the time you can really easily see that process. It's really hard to see on fabric. And it's not that shiny, to be honest with you. I'm not touching it until I give it a second to cool, but I think it's done. Yeah, I think it's done. It just doesn't look very shiny. It almost looks like black sandpaper to me. It's not that shiny. That's supposed to be shiny. Opaque sparkle embossing powder. I like the color. It's very purpley, actually. I like the color. I like that it frames it out, but and there is a little bit of shimmer. I wouldn't call it sparkle. I think it is definitely more sparkly on paper. I'll just say that. All right, let's get it. Let's do another corner because now I'm into it. Yeah, maybe, Lori. Have you ever embossed on fabric before? I've never done it before. We're doing it for the first time here. I'm going to do a little less over here on this one. I don't want it to be so pronounced because that was like, whoa, that was girly. I got really aggressive with the dauber or something. I don't know. You can see a teeny bit of paper peeking out behind this fabric. So maybe that will show. Maybe it will respond differently on the teeny bit of fabric that's peeking out there. We'll see. This is all experimental. Okay, so here I'm just not going to be as, holy, there's like a big purple flake. Huge. Oh, no, it just came off onto the paper. I'm not going to make that corner as quite as bold. All right, I'm going to do this. And then, like I said, a bunch of little beads of that kind of just stick to this. It has a little bit of the daubing glue on there, or the glue, and I have a mark on my leggings. Yeah, it has a bit of the glue and a bit of the, does anybody want to take a bet that I have an ink blob on my leg underneath my leggings? I have a black ink. It's going to look like I dropped an ink pen on my pants or my leg. All right, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place with this conversation today. Sorry about that, ladies. You can't really see it making its transformation, which is, it's surprisingly satisfying to watch your embossing powders melt. Can't really see it on the fabric. It's kind of moving, but I wouldn't say it looks like it does when you do it on paper. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this to you. It's smoking though. Gosh, it really smokes. I better really watch what I'm doing here. I don't want to start a fire. I'm guessing that once it melts, then it starts smoking. So I think that's my indication that that section is done. It's very strange looking. I don't know. Should I do all 4 corners? It would sit in the book like that. I kind of like those 2 edges done. It just makes them more prominent. Would it look kind of weird to have it in the book that way though? I try really hard not to, like I'm asking that question aloud. I want to know what you think, but I try really hard to just do what I want to do. Like, so what if I don't do all 4 corners? If I like it that way, then that's the way it should go in my book. And I would say the same for you. Who says what the rule is that you have to do all 4 corners? Whose rule is that? Because I'm challenging the rule. I'm challenging it. Let's just see. If I grab this, here's my first page. This is going to be my second page. What do you think? All 4 corners or not? Perhaps do an inside track of silver to shine. Not a bad idea, Miss Leslie. I really like the heaviness of this on this side of it. And I'm not going to do, I did this little fabric detail on this page, but I'm not going to do it on this page. I'm letting convention get the best of me. I do encourage you to do whatever the heck you want though. Like, I'm going to do a little bit on these corners, and it's not really shining up at all, unfortunately. So let's see. I'm going to just do both of them at the same time just to save time. I'm going to do this one a little heavier than that corner. And then maybe we'll try a bit of silver. I don't know. I've never embossed two colors on one project either. We're doing all kinds of first time things now. Going right through my hole. I punched that hole right there. Do you feel better about that? Does it make your little linear head feel like I have a total linear head? Like I feel like everything has to match, and I'm really, really trying to retrain my brain to not feel so obligated to do everything so symmetrical. But that's the way my brain wants to naturally work. And I'm trying to retrain it to just like, why? Why do you feel like you have to do all four corners? You do you, girl. Maybe we should try another color. I'm just curious to see if something else will show up differently. I don't even... Yeah, I can see it moving a little, but it doesn't, it's not really melding together like one big glossy mass of plastic like I'm used to seeing. Interesting, right? It looks more like sandpaper on there, like black sandpaper or soot. It looks really gnarly still, not really smooth. Okay, I like it that way too. I did like it with just the two, but yeah, it very well could have melted into the fabric. Absolutely. I think there's a hidden message up here. I gotta unhide real quick. It's a big one, so I'm not gonna read it, but I'm gonna keep going. Yes, Jane, I do. I have a membership group where I teach workshops and we do projects on the regular. We do lots of projects in there, and it's based on a monthly schedule. It's called the Craft Therapy Club. It's $15 a month, and it's closed right now. It'll open up again in late spring. I'm going to grab for you the link to that so that if you are interested when it opens up again, if you want to get an email, the people who are on the email, who are on the wait list, are going to get the first invitations to join. And I may limit the number of people that I add into the group at the time. So I'm going to give you the link to get on the wait list. It tells you a little bit about it. It shows you a few project photos, just a couple. This month we're doing project number 59. We do one main project a month. I started the group in April of 2019. And then I do 2 napkin projects a month in there. We do bingo for prizes. We do an open craft night where everybody just brings a project, and we do a Zoom call or StreamYard call, crafting together. I do a door prize during that night. We have all kinds of prizes and fun. We do the swaps, which is so fun. But I definitely focus on using up the stash that you have and learning new techniques and doing a lot of mixed media projects. So there's the link to the Craft Therapy Club if you want to get on the wait list so that when it opens up again, you'll be the first. The people on the wait list are going to get the very first invitation back into the club when I open it up again. I won't even announce that it's open on public. I'm just going to announce it to the wait list. And if like 10 people join from the wait list, I might just leave it at that and not even do a public announcement because I may limit it to like 10 or 12 people at a time joining in because I really like the intimate atmosphere. I like it real small. Everybody who joins gets a welcome gift. So that will let me send 12 welcome gifts or 10 welcome gifts all at once to everybody who joins at the same time. And I think that's what I'm going to be on a rolling, like open it every quarter maybe. I'm working through that now, but I just closed the doors in January. Just because we're doing, you like the 4 more than 2, Leslie? We're doing, I'm making a bunch of changes to the website, and I'm creating, I've purchased a system off of social media where my community can live and where I can offer my workshops and digital downloads, because as you know, sometimes we can't control social media. Sometimes you lose access to some of the things on social media. And so to safeguard all of the content and our community, I've purchased a system that we can use outside of social media to gather, and so that you can get all the content. And we're creating that now. It is just a really slow process. It's really slow, and we're working on it. I do have Make a Junk Journal. The Make a Junk Journal Start to Finish workshop is completely ready to go in that system so that people can purchase it. You'll get the templates, you get the 3 video instructions, 3 videos of instruction, and you get the supply list and the supply list chat. I go live and talk about all the supplies that you could possibly use in your book. If you don't have the same things I have, you can use these other things. That is ready to be sold, like as a product, as is. I just finished putting in the girl with the napkin dress. That was the project we did last month in the Craft Therapy Club. So in the next few days, I'm probably going to be looking for some volunteers to sign up for one of those 2 workshops. And I'm going to give you a big old fat discount to purchase the workshop, but you will be like one of the first few people in there to make sure that the system is working and that it's smooth and easy to get through from the customer side of it. So I'm going to probably look for a couple of volunteers to sign up. I'll give you a huge discount on it, and then kind of babysit you through the process and be really in contact with you a whole lot, so that we make sure that this new system from the customer side, that the new system is really seamless and smooth. I would like to test it out with a few people before I just go sharing the link to the new site. You know what I mean? I want to make sure it's really working before we just release it and then have all these people have trouble getting in. You'll do the junk journal one, Sarah? Oh, yay. Thanks for telling me that. Sarah, can you send me a private message so I remember? I'm not going to put the link out in public. I'm going to just look for like a handful of volunteers who are willing to sign up for it and just go through the process. And if you kind of be like my guinea pigs. And if something doesn't go right, I'll just be right there alongside with you, and you'll say, oh, I had trouble with that, or like I got stuck on that page. Then you can tell me and we'll fix it on the back end, the development side on the back end, but you will get the content. Don't worry about that. You will absolutely get it. Yes, send me a message, Sarah. I appreciate that so much. Ruth, you want to help anyway? I love that you guys are so helpful. Debbie says, I'm excited to be doing the girl in the napkin dress. The girl in the napkin dress. She is fabulous. She turned out so great. I have her right here. I'll show you. So those are the only 2 classes right now that I have completely loaded into the new system to sell. So this is the girl with the napkin dress mixed media project that we did in the Craft Therapy Club. Craft Therapy Club members don't have to purchase the workshops because they get them in the club. They're members and they get them every month. It's just part of the benefits of being a member. But you can just, my goal is to have the workshops so that people can just buy that one workshop and you don't have to be a member. You can just buy the one workshop. So this one is ready, and so is Make a Junk Journal from start to finish. And what I'd like to do is just like Sarah or anybody who's willing to try to go through the system, I'll probably give like 5 people like a chance to get in there and work with me, and just I'll give you a huge discount on it and just get you in there and see if it's working all really well. Yeah, she's so fun, isn't she, Joy? And everybody's been sharing their project photos, and we are going to do a little video, like I love to call it like the parade. I'll do a little video parade. I'll have Leanne create one for us, our community manager, to showcase all of the girls with napkin dresses, because they all came out so different. Mine is very sweet and sassy, and she looks, because the dress and the napkins that I picked, she looks very young to me. But some of the girls that were created with a napkin dress, they're full blown out queens. I mean, their crown is just amazing. She has a crown, but it looks like a little princess crown. Some of you guys did some amazing work on them, and the dresses look like royalty. I mean, they really are gorgeous. So we'll get Leanne to put together a little video and share it with you guys. I'm so glad you guys loved her. I'm so glad. And it's so fun to use your napkins up, right? It's so fun. All right, ladies, let's get this in the book. And then this project for today is completed. I probably am going to leave this open to let everything fully dry and cure before I close this up. But I put this with 3 rings, these little metal rings that you can open and close. I'm not a huge fan of these metal rings that you can open and close. My big sausage fingers don't like them. I don't like working with it. But while I'm building this book, I'm going to use the metal rings to hold everything together. And I think when I feel like it's full enough, which will be a long time, but when I feel like it's full enough, I think what I'll end up doing is stringing through the holes, the 3 rings where the binder, where these metal rings are. I think I'll use sari silk or something and tie it together with some pretty bows on the outside. But for now, to hold the book together, we're going to use the 3 rings because it's just easy and we can take things in and out. Now see, this page has the pretty background. This one is just plain white chalk suede paper. So I could do more chalking on here, and maybe I'll do a pattern on there or something. I don't know. I just left it blank, but it is ready to be decorated on if we wanted to. This one has both front and back. I could always put something additional on there if I wanted to, but for now, I'm only going to do the one side of each of these pages and build the book. The inside, I made the cover of the book out of an old Couture envelope. So I think it's kind of fun that you can see that on here. I know it's not necessarily pretty, but I do think it's kind of neat that we can see it there. So I don't know, maybe eventually I'll change my mind and want to do something on the inside there, but for now I'm leaving it. And I will eventually put some sort of fancy closure on this, but not until we get more of the pages. I like my books to develop over time. I like to let the book tell its own story. And as I'm building the pages and decorating the inside pages of my books, I let that determine the whole vibe for the book, which will help me determine what kind of closure to put on it, what kind of ties, and whether or not I want to design on the inside. So I just let it happen over time. I don't rush it. I don't feel like I need to make all those decisions now. It's too much pressure. I just create in it and let it be what it's going to be until I feel like it's done, and then I can make all those final decisions. Ruth, we did that last week, last Wednesday here on the page. All right, ladies, have a beautiful, blessed day. I hope you stay safe and warm, or cool if you live in a warm weather area, and healthy. Thanks for all the good conversation. I appreciate you all so much. I really do. Thanks for lifting me up. The last 5 weeks have been very difficult physically, and now it's starting to mess with my brain. So thank you for supporting me and all of that. Happy birthday to my sister Kathy. If you're still here, Kat, happy birthday. I'll be calling you in a little while. Sending hearts your way. I've got happy mail going out to some of you crafty chicks who are in the club. Regular happy mail. Send